Hey, I'm Steven from Wind and Fire Woodworking, and today I want to show you my 5 favorite tools under $30. And as a special bonus, I've added a 6th tool under $30, but you're going to have to wait around till the end to find out what that is. But stick around, it's definitely the most important one. First up on my list is one that you may not have thought of for using around the shop, and I honestly don't think that I've seen it in any other kind of YouTube tool list, and that is a set of playing cards. And no, what I'm not talking about is going out into the shop and playing any kind of like solitaire or poker or anything like that. I actually find these to be some of the best shims that you can use for laying things out. In fact, I've measured out this set of bicycle playing cards, and they measure out to exactly 1/32 of an inch if you stack 3 of them together. That means that you can get down to 1/128 of an inch of accuracy. Or for all of you metric folks, that works out to about 0.29 millimeters per shim. I like to use them for all kinds of things, like shimming up the stock that I'm going to be running through the planer in order to joint a face. I also use it for setting out the spacing on small drawer projects and so much more. Honestly, most of us already have a set of playing cards just sitting around the house. So maybe it's time to migrate that set over to the shop and begin using it as your new set of shims. My second favorite tool under $30 is getting some sort of inexpensive sharpening angle jig like this one for using on your plane irons and your chisels. Now, I know that it's totally possible to sharpen everything by hand, but it's also pretty intimidating when you're getting started out. This makes it so that you can do it no matter your skill level. And honestly, you just need to get the tools sharp. I mean, it is so much nicer and, in my opinion, safer to work with a sharp chisel or a sharp plane iron. And I find for myself, I love the consistency and accuracy that comes with using a jig. Now, I got this one off Amazon. I'll link it in the description below if I can find it. And I really think that you'll enjoy using this thing. In fact, it even has written right on it the proper projection measurements for a chisel and for a plane iron for both 30 degrees and 25 degrees. I really think that this is well worth the cost of having it around the shop. And honestly, for how cheap it is, I haven't had any issues with it, and I've been using it for about a year. Next up, we have a right angle drill attachment. I picked up this DeWalt one for right around $30 Canadian a few months back, and it has been a lifesaver in so many situations where I otherwise would have just been stuck getting down on my knees with a snub nose hand-driven screwdriver instead of being able to use my drill and driver. Now, the one thing to note on these is that they do use that hexagonal shank that a lot of your screw bits are going to use. So if you're wanting to use this right angle drill attachment for any kind of actual drilling procedure, you're going to need a specialized set of drill bits with that end on it. But I got to tell you, this thing is an absolute lifesaver for those moments where you just need to get into a small corner to screw something down. So I really do recommend this DeWalt one. It's not that expensive, and honestly, you might think you don't need it, but it's one of those tools that you don't even think about until that moment where you've backed yourself into a corner and you absolutely need it at that moment to get the job done. Remember to stick around to the end of this video for that important bonus tool in this list. And so now let's get on to the 4th tool that we have today. This one here is a really accurate 6-inch or 4-inch sliding square. I really like this size because I can carry it around in my apron or in my pocket for when I need to make a small, accurate, and repeatable measurement around the shop. Now, there are a lot of these out on the market that aren't the best quality. If you're going to Home Depot or something like that and picking one up, honestly, it may not have any etching. The marks might just be printed on. It might not hold square. What you want to make sure that you can get is one with etched markings, nice detents for setting a marking gauge, and so they don't wear off. Now, I have this one here from Benchmark Tools. It's their 6-inch double square. I gotta say, it's super accurate and it's super enjoyable to use. Really, the only thing that I could say is a downside on this one is it does have etched markings, but they're not as substantial, not as deep as I would prefer them to be. It just becomes a little bit hard to set my marking gauge in here. An alternative to this one, and honestly one that's probably easier to get if you're living here in Canada, is the stuff by iGaging. They sell a really nice double square that's in the 6-inch variety for about $39 Canadian, which I think would bring you right down to $30 US. And honestly, I think that one would probably be even better based on some of the other tools from iGaging that I've got around the shop. So be sure to go out if you don't have one already and pick up a small, accurate benchmark tools or iGaging tools, double, bevel, or combination square. I'll put a link in the description below to where you can find those. Now we are almost to our bonus tool, which is the absolute most important tool, I believe. So stick around. We've got this one last one before. So here is number 5, and that is some high quality small squeeze clamps. Now listen, squeeze clamps aren't necessarily going to be what you're going to use if you need some really heavy duty clamping pressure, or if you need to make sure that a stop block absolutely isn't going to move. But what these things are great for is those moments where perhaps you've only got one hand available, you're holding on to something else, and you just quickly need to put something in place or hold something together. Honestly, I even use them for a lot of my glue ups. They're great, they're convenient, they're easy to use, and they have this nice wide face compared to normal S-style clamps. So pick yourself up one of these, but do make sure it's a good one. At one point, I bought some from Princess Auto, which is kind of like Canada's Harbor Freight. And those ones there, they just don't work very well. Honestly, I got this Jorgensen Easy Hold clamp in a pack of 4. I had 2 6-inch ones and 2 12-inch ones. It was on sale at Lowe's that day for like $29 Canadian. So I'm pretty sure for under $30, you can pick up 1, 2, 3, or even 4 really high quality squeeze clamps. All right, that's your 5 tools under $30. And here we finally come to the most important and honestly the most used tool under $30 in my shop. And that's this. It's your noggin. In all seriousness, your brain, your ability to be creative, your ability to learn and grow as a person and a woodworker, it's a God-given gift that I am truly grateful to Jesus for. I mean, as you look around on YouTube, maybe at my channel or maybe some of these other channels where people have big shops and they've got expensive tools. I was there not too long ago thinking I can't afford any of this stuff. I still can't afford a lot of it. And you might think to yourself, I can't do what they're doing because I don't have X, Y, and Z. But that's the great thing about woodworking. There is absolutely no limit on the ways that you can accomplish a task. Sure, it may not always be as easy or as fast, but with a little bit of good old-fashioned brain power, you will be absolutely amazed at the workarounds that you're able to find in order to do just as amazing of work as the people with the big shops and the expensive tools, just maybe with a more roundabout, time-consuming way of doing it. And so that's your bonus tip today. Your bonus item, your bonus tool is your noggin. So feed it with the information that you can and give thanks to God for it, and be sure to put it to work the next time you're thinking, I can't do that because I don't have fill in the blank. All right, everyone, that's all I've got for you today. So remember, as always, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. And until then, make sawdust, not excuses.